Hi everyone, for tonight's Nightcap and review, I'm having an adult beverage, and tonight I'll be discussing The Pucking Wrong Guy by C.R. Jane. This is a book I got from Wild and Windy where I got to meet her and get this edition, which is absolutely stunning. But while I do have a physical copy, I did read this off of KU, and of course I'm giving my honest opinion. These are the highlights and the content warnings. And my rating for this book is 4.25, so what's it about? So this book is about Blake, who moved to LA looking for a fresh start away from her suffocating, toxic adoptive parents. But she didn't expect someone from her past to come blazing into her life, especially not the boy from the group home that she was in as a child that she had a crush on. But he's not a child any longer and has grown up into an over 6-foot tatted hockey player who is living out his dreams. Well, most of his dreams, as he has never forgotten about her and has been looking for her ever since. And now that he's found her, he is not letting her go because she is the one for him. But as much as she would like to give in to him, she is scared that he will break her heart and that she would not survive it. But what if, in the end, he is the right guy for her? So what are my thoughts? Again, I'm giving this a 4.25. I had a blast reading this book and I was able to finish it in a day. But I do want to say, while I had a great time reading this book, I did have a misunderstanding as it pertains to one of the content warnings. The content warning is cheating is involved, but not between the main love interest. Ari and Blake would never cheat on each other. And I took that to mean that perhaps a previous partner early on in the book cheated on them and they got caught, or there was talk about cheating, something along those lines. And that's not quite the situation going on in this book. So I do wish there had been a little bit better disclosure as to the true situation of the book, because usually cheating for me is a hard no. But I will say, even if I had the correct understanding of what was going on in this book, I still would have chosen to read it because I had such a great time reading book one that I needed to read book two. But it was an element that I didn't quite enjoy, and if it wasn't in the book, I probably would have given this a 4.5 or a 4.75, but that is a personal preference. So if you're okay with that, that's great for you, and you will love this book. Now, something I'm really enjoying about this series is how over the top these men can get. When you compare Lincoln from book one, I would say his actions are a little bit darker, but with Ari, his actions, while they have some darkness, they just seemed a little bit more over the top for me because he put so much at stake, at least in my opinion, especially when it pertained to his career. For his career, he was at the dream team, had just won the Stanley Cup, and when he finds out where Blake is going, he asks to be traded to an okay team in the area and hopes that at the end of the year, when he could be traded again, that he can, with Blake, end up back where he was. And to just put your career at risk like that, especially when you're at the peak of your career, just seemed like so over the top to me, and I really enjoyed it. Now, something else I really enjoyed about this book was the bromance. Ari and Lincoln had the best bromance and banter in this book, and I really enjoyed it, especially when they drew in Walker, who is another character in this book, and he's going to be the male main character in the next book, and I am so excited to read what happens with him, because in this book, he's just so sweet, innocent, and puppyish, but considering how these men act in these books, I know there's something else going on with him. Now, for Ari and Blake, who is our couple, I absolutely love the two of them together, and they had some great chemistry. Now, Ari is definitely single-minded in his focus when it comes to Blake, but honestly, Blake needed that after everything she had been through in her life. She needed someone that crazy who was just always going to show up for her and be there for her and just love her no matter what, even if she pushed them away. So I really enjoyed the two of them together. I really enjoyed this book, and I'm excited to continue the series. This book is currently available, and I recommend that you give it a try for yourself, and I hope everyone has a good night and happy readings.